on Lisa's show, and it's so cool to watch it unfold. And I want to introduce MariJo Moore, MariJo Moore, Asheville, I know, and Brevard, and so many people around here know of MariJo Moore, and I know she's world renowned. You can go ahead and take the show. It's all about you. I'm so honored and grateful to be here, and this woman means the world to me, and she knows it. So I hope everyone will give you all ears.
It's the first time I blushed.
Aww.
First of all, I want to say thank you. Thank you for having me here, and I really, really support this TV station and what you're doing. You're helping a lot of people. And that's good.
Well, we try to educate as well as entertain. Sometimes it's more entertainment, but we like to educate as much as possible.
That's the balance, I think. That's the balance, yeah.
But it's riding that fine line of not being too commercial.
Mm-hmm. You have to be very
and
careful.
that's what, because I know that some people last week were, we had Lady Passion and Duvet, her husband, on the show. And I'm sure that somebody was wondering what happened to it. And because on the video clip that they showed on the YouTube, it had made a mention of her book that she wrote, and where the website that it could be bought, someone had made an anonymous complaint. And it's really disappointing that it wasn't a go down here and buy this right now, and it's so hard to walk a fine line and still have good, honest intentions. Right, because it's like, you are an author, you're an artist, and it's like, we're trying not to be commercialized out there. Well, she's someone special to me through this, and this is something that she wrote how many years ago? We'll start with Crow quotes, because this is many. Let me go get the camera.
I don't know. What's the
Copyright?
what's the publication date in there? 1996, and that's the third printing, so I would say probably 1995, yeah.
Wow.
It's been a while.
How amazing, because, and the artwork, did you do the artwork?
No, I didn't. Gina Cantor, who I believe she still lives in Barnesville, did that artwork, yeah.
Okay. Because it's phenomenal.
It's phenomenal.
But if I can say, simplicity, when you're struggling in life to find something that connects, as easy as that, when you're just, kind of bumbling along. And this is like millions of dollars to a shrink could never help me what this book did at the time of my life. And I mentioned here on TV that was at least 9 years ago.
Right. And as an author, when you're writing, it must be very gratifying to know that there's somebody out there that I'll be able to reach with this.
And she saved my life.
Well, I consider my writing as a gift from Creator Spirit through me to others, and when I'm writing, I don't really worry about where it's going to go or who it's going to touch. I just feel like that it's my responsibility to get the words out there, right.
And then it must be so gratifying when somebody then comes to you and says what that meant to me.
Well,
it's wonderful.
The magic of connection, I could sit here and cry and talk for an hour about this woman. All the connections to this day, and you start talking because I'll start crying. But the thing is that her son came to my house to help out, who's a friend of Jimmy, who's my best friend, and her son, just the connection immediately. We were trying to sell our house last year. We're sitting on it now and, feeling out things around us. But he came, he was cleaning the outside, making it all pretty for everybody, and helping Jimmy to help us. And he was just, and I met him. And it comes out that MariJo is his mother within half an hour of us knowing each other, because we had that kind of connection.
So you did not know prior to that?
No. He was at my house helping me out.
Wow.
Through a friend.
Through a friend. So just
my heart's racing because it's so exciting.
Yeah, it is
so
exciting.
For her to be here, so her son, I'm like, we're outside under my favorite pine tree. And we spent the day talking, and when he said MariJo Moore, I went, whoa, 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 stop, no, you're kidding, no, oh. And it was so magnificent.
That is.
And how the blessing, and then for her to be here today. That impact was so tremendous that the future back then, who would have known 9 years ago when I was in the throes of my drinking, my hepatitis still, and you know, I kind of fell into a really dark place. And for her to just continually come into my realm of just happiness, I'm so honored, and I can't say enough. I walk with honor, but to her, like I say, I got to go to her house.
Yeah,
I got to go to her house, and again, more connection. And everyone, you know, that knows me knows how I feel with different things that have happened to me. So there's nothing greater than to know someone that is just so completely honest with what's around her.
What is your son's name?
Lance.
Lance. So Lance had no idea when he
Well, I think he's had other people say, I love your mom's writing.
Yeah.
You know,
but probably not somebody
not like
quite
that.
like
No,
Ellie.
no. He called me. Yeah, he called me that afternoon and told me,
You know, it was like, no, your mom.
But there's
It's
a reason.
amazing.
You see,
Yes.
there's a
a
reason
reason.
that Lance ended up at your
And
house
I live
helping
by that.
you.
I live by
well, that's
that.
the way the world works. That's the way spirit works. I know as a child, I grew up in a very abusive home, and reading was my escape. It was my opening to other worlds. And I knew right then, as a child, I'm going to write. But I didn't know at the time what exactly I was going to write.
What age did you feel that?
I think I was 9, and I was reading an Agatha Christie book, and then there were none. And I remember my heart beating real fast, and I was thinking, I want to write a book that's going to affect people like this.
Wow.
And then, like, of course, they made that book into a movie, 10 Little Indians, which I thought was really ironic. But it took me a long time to get to the point. I had a horrible bout with alcoholism, and this August I'll have 24 years of sobriety, so I'm very grateful for
wonderful.
that. But I had to go through all that dark place and go through what so many people have to go through. But, and then after I got sober and I really wanted to write, I was afraid. I was afraid to show people what I had written because, number one, I thought they would say, you didn't write that. Or they would say, that's crap, that's terrible. Or they wouldn't say anything because they wouldn't read it, you know. But it eventually, I got the courage through prayer, I believe in prayer, to start putting my work out there. And then I started my own little small press. And it's had its ups and downs, but I can honestly say that I really believe that Spirit Creator works through me to help others through the written word. I really do.
Your first book, take us back to that, and where did that come from?
I could probably bring.
The first book would that would
bring
be
some of these over.
Crow Quotes
Okay.
that I did in my publishing company. And what this is, it's a little book of spiritual quotes that I felt when I was going through a real hard time. I would sit outside and write, and these quotes came through. They were in my journal. So when I decided I wanted to start my own publishing company, I went back through my journal and pulled things, yes. And then I did Tree Quotes, which is sold out. I need to reprint that, and Desert Quotes and different things. But I've also been blessed enough to help other writers get their works published. I've edited several anthologies. This one about the American Indian Holocaust. And there are at least probably 30 different American Indian writers, essays and poems in here. And a lot of them had never been published before, so it was giving them an opportunity to have their voices heard.
Oh, I see.
And then I did this one was really painful. That one was painful to edit. It's painful to read, it is. But it's the truth, and sometimes the truth hurts,